The PC continues to matter, and Microsoft has wanted to take advantage of this singular resurgence with a launch that nobody expected. This is how its new operating system, Windows 11, arrives. Today we have finally known all the details about an operating system that takes the baton from Windows 10, and that does so with very important changes at a visual level, but also in other sections. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Microsoft's next generation operating system. Windows 11 wants to look different from Windows 10, and to achieve this Microsoft has introduced a series of visual changes that especially affect its renewed Start menu. That menu, which for years has been located by default in the lower left corner of the desktop, changes position and format. Both the Start button with the Windows logo and the accesses to the main applications that we anchor to the taskbar are located in the central part of the screen, something reminiscent of the position of the macOS dock, and that of course it represents a radical change in the Microsoft operating system. That menu, which for years has been located by default in the lower left corner of the desktop, changes position and format. Both the Start button with the Windows logo and the accesses to the main applications that we anchor to the taskbar are located in the central part of the screen, something reminiscent of the position of the macOS dock, and that of course it represents a radical change in the Microsoft operating system. If we don't like that option, nothing happens. We can change that position by right-clicking on the taskbar, which will allow us to access its configuration. In that configuration we have an option to place the Start menu and the icons of the applications anchored in the lower left part of our desktop, as always. Not only that, when you click on that Start button, the displayed Start menu is also different. First, it is not glued to the taskbar, it floats on the desktop. Second, the corners of that pop-up window are not 90 degrees angles, but rather rounded corners. Third, we say goodbye to the animated tiles that had been with us since Windows 8, released in October 2012. Instead of those tiles, Microsoft has decided to occupy that menu with two different areas. At the top we find icons that are launchers of the most recent applications. At the bottom we find shortcuts to documents and files that we have accessed and that the system thinks we can use to have there. The iconography changes significantly as well, and as seen in the operating system leak, there are new icons both for the Windows logo itself, now without perspective, but with rounded outer corners, and for application icons or folder icons. Important as documents, downloads, or images. The operation of the Start menu, yes, inherits the behavior of the Windows 10 integrated search engine, although the search bar does not appear in the first term in that menu. As soon as we start writing something with that menu open, suggestions will be offered that allow launch applications or search immediately. The new multitasking experience also changes in a sensible way. We can continue dragging the windows to the edges and thus placing two windows facing each other, but things go further with the so-called snap layouts, which allow several windows to be repositioned in different positions in a simple way, distributing thus the desk in halves, thirds, quarters and also other combinations of sizes. These organization options are enhanced with the so-called snap groups, which allow us to remember configurations of groupings of windows on the desktop to reuse them whenever we want. This experience takes advantage of multiple monitors, which we can connect or disconnect without losing a workflow that adapts to those scenarios. Another differential element of this edition is the so-called Windows widgets, a news feed powered by artificial intelligence, with content that is suggested according to our preferences and our user experience. The tactile experience is now nourished by haptic technology that responds to certain touches or strokes with a stylus, but we will also enjoy a new virtual keyboard that also supports voice dictation. Thus, the roadmap for Windows 11 makes it clear that from now on Microsoft will offer a single major update per year, and not two as has happened until now. This will avoid the stability and performance issues that had plagued the previous biannual pace of large Windows 10 updates. In addition to that, there will also be improvements in the rest of the normal updates, which according to Microsoft officials, will be up to 40% smaller in size, which will reduce download and installation time. This big Windows 11 update is expected to arrive in the second half of the year, and the approach follows, for example, the strategy that Apple maintains with macOS, which changes version once a year. Requirements. Number 32-bit version of Windows 11. Although they did not talk about the necessary requirements to install Windows 11 on a PC during the presentation of the new operating system, it is possible to consult that information on the official Windows 11 website and in the Microsoft documentation. There it is specified that we will need a computer with a 64-bit CPU with at least 2 cores at 1 GHz, and here comes the first important element. There will be no support for old 32-bit processors. Although for years most processors have supported x86-64 AMD64, that option is certainly interesting. We will also have to have at least 4 GB of RAM and a storage capacity of at least 64 GB, but also for the installation of Windows 10 Home, we will see other versions, we will need a Microsoft account and internet connectivity. It seems that it will not be possible to create local accounts in that edition. Another key requirement is the need for TPM 2.0. This standard is designed to ensure hardware security through cryptographic keys, and although it has become a common component among PC and laptop manufacturers in recent years, this could pose limitations for some users. It is true that there have been ways to bypass this requirement in the case of the leaked version of Windows 11, but it is not certain that these methods will work with the official versions that appear from now on. However, it is possible to check if our PC is compatible with Windows 11 by downloading and installing the official Microsoft PC Health Check application. Microsoft has indicated that Windows 11 will be available as a free update on new PCs and some existing PCs starting next Christmas. They also revealed that next week they will offer a preview version of Windows 11 for members of the Windows Insider program, which will allow those users to download and install that version on their computers to help with their comments to improve the system before its final launch.